What's going on, guys, and welcome back to WWE Network and Chill, where every single week, right here on the show, I, Graham GSM Matthews, break down all the content I watch on the WWE Network. And no, you aren't seeing things. WWE Network and Chill is up on a Sunday for the first time in a long time. Now, we're going to have a new episode tomorrow covering the season finale of Total Bellas, as I have been doing for the past month and a half now. But there was a new, content, a new show up on the WWE Network this week, a new episode of Ride Along. So we're finally getting new content on the network. Ride Along was last week, the Season 3, Season 2 premiere, whatever the hell they're calling it. It's not really seasons because they're network shows. They air inconsistently. But anyway, we got new Ride Along last week, which we'll talk about today, Hounds of the Highway. And then tomorrow, on Monday, whatever, after Raw, depending on when you're listening to this, we're having a new episode, I believe, of Table for Three. So a lot of new content going up now on the WWE Network. I know I'm wrapping up my Total Bellas reviews tomorrow. But I might also be reviewing the new season of Total Divas 2. So if I do that, I'm going to have 2 episodes of WWE Network and Chill up a week, depending on what airs on the network. Reviewing Total Divas on Mondays, or maybe earlier in the week, depending on, again, what I do. And then usually on the Mondays, like I have been doing forever, I'll review whatever's on the WWE Network. So I'll be doing both, I'll be splitting my time over the course of the week. So you won't be getting just one, but rather 2 episodes of WWE Network and Chill a week, which is exciting news. But anyway, let's get down to what you guys came here to hear, my review of the Hounds of the Highway episode of Ride Along. So we got 2 cars, as always. In one car, we got as the title suggests, The Shield. Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns back at it again for the first time in a long time. This takes place the night of No Mercy. They're driving from Los Angeles to Ontario, not Canada, California, and it's a 45-minute drive. So the episode is a bit longer than usual, but the drive is shorter, which is interesting. So we got The Shield in one car and Bayley and Sasha Banks in the other. I'm shocked we had not seen these two in a car together prior to this point because they're best friends. I'm sure they always ride together. They've been riding together since Bayley came to Raw a year ago. So we finally get it on this show. I love this episode. This was fucking great. So in the Shield car, Ambrose and Rollins are already there. They're attempting to get in Vince McMahon's limo, which is pretty funny. But they're waiting for Roman Reigns, and they're just, waiting and waiting and waiting. Roman's taking forever. Once they get in the car and they take off, Roman talks about the Tampa flooding from Hurricane Irma. Apparently, I guess they got a lot of flooding from the hurricane that took place right before this episode was taped. Seth Rollins is the driver, Ambrose is the wingman, and Roman Reigns is the dozer. So apparently he sleeps on a lot of these rides, or used to anyway, when they used to ride as the Shield many years earlier. So they must have, as you would probably assume, they stopped riding together once the Shield broke up. So I'm trying to think of episodes of Ride Along where they've had heels and baby faces riding together. And I can't remember an instance where that was the case. Actually, that has happened a few times with Ziggler and Miz before Ziggler went heel. But more often than not, it doesn't happen. I could see why they wouldn't want the Shield to ride together because that was a big split. I'm sure it doesn't matter with 2 mid-card, guys teaming together, or 2 women teaming together. But since the Shield split up, they probably didn't want to have them riding together any longer since it would kind of take away from the storyline if people saw them in the same car. Anyway, so those are their roles, with Rollins as the driver, notoriously, Ambrose as the wingman, and Reigns as the dozer. Bayley and Banks are in the same car. Like I said, she makes an awful pun that people in traffic have no mercy. Banks does not appreciate the pun attempt. They discuss their no mercy match in the Fatal 5-Way for the Raw Women's Championship coming up short, but Banks is very proud to have wrestled at a no mercy pay-per-view. Bayley and Sasha are 2 huge wrestling fans. So what do you think it means to them to wrestle No Mercy? A pay-per-view that's been around for over a decade now, which is pretty cool. Almost 2 decades, actually. Ambrose and Rollins discuss Cesaro's teeth in their match. They faced Cesaro and Sheamus that night for the Raw Tag Team titles. That was the night Cesaro's teeth went up into his fucking gums, which was disgusting to see. But they talk about that and how Cesaro's a fucking Superman. Bayley and Sasha, they take a picture with John Cena before they leave the arena. For what reason, I don't know. And Bayley wanted to recreate the picture that she took with Cena, when she was a kid. That picture that's made the rounds for years now. But I guess Sasha wanted to be a part of the pictures. That was not possible, unfortunately. Roman Reigns talks about his being proud of his win over John Cena from No Mercy and how big of a win it was for his career. He would go from that to the Shield, so he didn't really ride that momentum, and he recently got sick with the illness. But it was a pretty big win for Roman Reigns to defeat John Cena on that show. Bayley and Sasha discuss their friendship with Stone Cold Steve Austin and which one is closer to Stone Cold than the other. I mean, they discuss this all the time with like the Japanese talents and trying to befriend Shinsuke Nakamura, Akira Tozawa, Kota Ibushi maybe I believe might have been in there too, Asuka and a few others. Because and Hideo Itami, they love to befriend the Japanese talent and they like to fight over the Japanese wrestlers, which is pretty funny. They talk about working with Becky Lynch and their history with her and how they haven't worked with her in a long time. Bayley has not wrestled Becky since NXT days in 2015. Becky and Sasha had a handful of matches in early 2016 before the brand split occurred, but Banks has been on Raw. Becky's been on SmackDown, so of course they haven't mixed it up in a while. They miss working with her. But they do tease, and the biggest thing coming out of the show, the biggest news item, was that they said they wanted to work together as the Four Horsemen at WrestleMania. Now, it was teased on this show. They just said they wanted to work together as the Four Horsemen. They didn't say anything about the UFC Four Horsemen. They never said anything about that. So any speculation stemming from this episode that they revealed anything about WrestleMania plans with the Four Horsewomen of the UFC of MMA is not true. They just showed a quick graphic of Charlotte, Bayley, Becky, and Banks all standing side by side in a WrestleMania 34 graphic against four mystery women, which you can assume is the UFC MMA Four Horsewomen, but it was never actually said, so just wanted to clear that up there too. Anyway, so Roman Reigns talks about getting a tour of Dean Ambrose's house, or Renee Young's house, because they're married, obviously, and meeting Renee's dog, Blue, and the interesting experience with that. Bayley recalls her theme song lyrics. For what reason? I don't know. She doesn't even remember her own theme song lyrics, which is funny. She can recite basic thugonomics, but not the lyrics to her own theme song. Anyway, Dean Ambrose talks about not being able to get an apartment, a good apartment, while joining FCW, getting one off Craigslist, and then it was a fucking piece of shit, and how awful it was, feeling that he made it when he signed with WWE, but he really didn't, having lived in the shithole for so long. Bayley and Banks sing Kurt Angle's remix theme song, the I Don't Suck song that came out years ago, I would assume. And they question why people chant, "You suck." Sasha's like, why are they still chanting "You suck" at Kurt Angle if he's back? Like, shouldn't they be chanting "Thank you" or something? And Bayley's like, it's just a part of the shtick, it's a part of the song. They might not be chanting it at Kurt, Bayley makes sense here. Sasha apparently doesn't get it. The Shield, I think, go to Sonic. I'm not exactly sure, but they don't say where they're going, at least I don't think so, but they make it sound like they're going to Sonic here, which is pretty funny. So they stop at Sonic to get some food, and then from there, I think Bayley and Banks, I think they also stop at Sonic. I'm not exactly sure, but Bayley gets out of the car and asks Neville for a picture, which is even funnier now that Neville's gone from the company, apparently. All but confirmed that he's gone from WWE. So she wants to bother Neville, and Banks says that Neville likes Bayley more than he likes Sasha. So Bayley goes up to Neville's car, jokingly asking for a picture with him. He says no. She takes a picture with him anyway, a selfie. And then Neville goes, "Is this for Ride Along?" And Bayley's like, "Yeah." And Neville says, "Fuck Ride Along." And literally says "fuck Ride Along." They beep it out, obviously, and he flips off the camera. That was fucking hilarious, and it's even funnier now that Neville's gone from the company. I laughed my ass off, and Neville is a fucking god. So anyway, the Shield talk about, Dean and Roman, they were traveling with Cesaro and Bo Dallas after the Shield broke up back in 2014. And Bo Dallas ran out of fucking gas. I think I've heard that story somewhere else before, too. I don't know where it was, maybe from Cesaro's mouth, but I've heard that story somewhere else, too. Maybe Bo was driving and he forgot to fill up the gas tank or something, and they had to stop on the side of the road, which is pretty funny. Anyway, so that was after Rollins broke off and they ran out of gas, like I said. The Shield meet up with Bayley and Banks at the hotel once they eventually reach their destination. And while Roman and Seth are talking to Bayley and Banks, Dean Ambrose just goes off about fries for some reason. I'm not sure why, but he does. He's a lunatic fringe after all, so why question it? And the Shield take pictures. They take pictures with fans before heading into the hotel. So that is the Hounds of the Highway episode of Ride Along. Thank you guys for checking it out. Overall, very fun episode. I love Bayley and Sasha. I love the Shield. So I'm glad Ride Along is back. I think the next episode has Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. Hopefully Bo Dallas does not run out of gas this time. But it has the Miz Tarages, Curtis Axel, and Bo Dallas, as well as the Hardy Boys. So I can't wait to watch that either. It looks like it's going to be a ton of fun. I'm not sure when it's airing. Like I said, I think on tomorrow's, after tomorrow's Raw on the WWE Network, they're airing a new Table for Three. With who? I don't know yet, but that is what is on tap for the network next show, tomorrow night. So tomorrow on WWE Network and Chill, this is going up on Sunday. Tomorrow, you get another episode, and I'll be reviewing the season finale, the season 2 finale of Total Bellas from last Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. I appreciate you guys' support. Be sure to like this video, drop a comment, share the video, subscribe to the channel for more daily content, and I'll catch you guys right back here tomorrow on the channel, the new WWE Network and Chill. All that being said, guys, have a great rest of your weekend, what is left of it anyway. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.